In my previous video, I listed the Apollo Go as one of my favorite electric scooters between $1,000 and $2,000, but I've actually never done a full review of it on this channel. For those unaware, this is my personal channel, Arcanine Rides, but I also work for Electric Scooter Guide, and I got the chance to spend some time with the Go while Paul was testing it and reviewing it for that channel. From the little bit of testing I did, I knew I really liked this scooter, but now I have the chance to take a deeper dive and tell you my long-term experience with it. For an in-depth look at all the specs and stats, Paul's video is fantastic, so I'll link that down below. In this review, I'll talk about my personal experience with it over the past few weeks, what's it like living and using the Go regularly, and how I think it stacks up against other scooters at the price. So let's go. Since I last rode this scooter, I have moved to Las Vegas, and so Apollo sent out a new model for me to unbox and long-term test, and I have to say that it was one of the most pleasant unboxing experiences that I've ever had. The box opens up from the side and includes a full toolkit, duplicates of every bolt, and even an adhesive mount for the Quadlock system that the Go uses. I'll cover my experience with the Quadlock system and Apollo's app in just a second, but first let's dive into a closer look at the scooter's features. I won't be doing a complete overview of every feature in this video because, as I mentioned, Paul covered just about everything you could need to know about the specs, components, and stats in his video. However, I wanted to point out some features that I really like that make this scooter stand out, and also a couple features that I didn't specifically notice when I first tested the Go. To start, this stem lock is not only the same one as the lock on the Apollo Pro, but it also has this safety strap for triple redundancy. It's also just generally one of the most stable stem locks I've ever used with absolutely no wiggle. The handlebar lock is also something that I didn't appreciate until I started hauling this guy around in the car. The one-touch lock and unlock is so nice, and it's something that you don't see often, especially on dual motor scooters. Generally speaking, the blend of portability and performance is executed super well on this scooter, and it manages to come in under 50 pounds while still offering dual motors and a top speed of over 25 miles an hour. The suspension is something that I've really come to appreciate on this scooter, especially after recently testing a few other dual motor scooters in this price range. Sometimes suspension does little more than add weight and add an extra bullet point to the marketing materials for a scooter, but Apollo has done a great job making suspension that you actually notice while riding. I also like that they've done a great job of disguising it, keeping the sleek, simple look that they like to go for on their scooters. One of the small things that I didn't love when I first rode this scooter around was how high off the ground it felt and how narrow and top heavy it seemed to be, but after riding it regularly, I actually really like the taller, floaty feel that this scooter has. I feel confident over cracks, potholes, speed bumps, and going off curbs and stuff because of that extra deck clearance. The handlebars are also a good balance of a width that makes control and steering easy while also being narrow enough to not be awkward when folding down or storing or transporting. Apollo puts a lot of emphasis on the regen braking, and while I have definitely started using the dedicated regen brake lever more and started appreciating the regen in general more, I still really would have liked to see hydraulic disc brakes on this scooter. Aesthetically, the single drum brake and single brake lever maintains that sleek look that Apollo loves, and the regen braking is some of the best in the business, but having dual disc brakes is just always going to be my preference. That being said, the braking distance is still decent and it doesn't feel unsafe, and you can still just barely lock up the wheel in emergency braking situations. The throttle is one of the best thumb throttles that I've tried, with a huge surface area for your thumb and requires just the right amount of resistance to press and hold, and makes it really easy to make small adjustments to your speed. The turn signals are a nice little touch, especially for nighttime riding, but I've found that pressing the turn signals is a bit awkward because your thumbs are being used for the throttle and the regen brake. The nice part is that the turn signals auto-cancel after a few seconds, so you only have to concern yourself with pressing them down once right before you turn. Apollo wants you to use your phone as the primary display, and that was something that I hadn't tried out previously, so I gave it a go this time around. Okay, let's do a double test of this quad lock with the mount on the back. This is the sticky mount. I just put it on my phone case. And then we're also going to test out the Apollo app and see how it does for directions and kind of see what features it has. So I'm going to go grab some lunch here, and I have the taco shop that I want to go to pulled up. It's telling me 18 minutes by bike, so I can assume that's going to be about 10 to 15 by scooter, and it has me coming along this path here. And it actually has a fantastic route that keeps me off of main streets until I absolutely need to go on the main street. It tells me that this is the best route, 18 minutes. It's 1 minute slower than going on regular streets, but it's the safer route. So Google Maps gets a big thumbs up. Let's see how the Apollo app does searching up the exact same location and see if it can find the same route. So let's type in frijoles and frescas, 7000 West Charleston. Wow, this is a mess of a route. So the Google Maps one has me just following this trail down, 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 and then cutting straight across. This has me making 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 turns, whereas the Google Maps route has me making 2 turns. So that being said, I am going to continue to use the Apollo app here just to try it out. And I'm going to take my normal route, the route that I know works, and see what it does. Right now it says that my arrival is in 25 minutes and it's 3.7 miles away. And let's see what it does while I ride. Okay, it looks like it wasn't centered on me. There we go. It looks like the route covers up my little arrow. But I didn't touch anything, but it wasn't centered on me to begin with, so it wasn't tracking. Now we're centered here. It looks like it has your speed, the battery life. It's quite hard to see, and remaining range down in that bottom left corner while you ride. It would be nice if it was a little bit bigger, since you can't see the dot matrix display when this is pulled up. So it wants me to go over that bridge there, but that's not the best route. So let's see if it redirects. Okay, now it's redirecting. It thinks I'm on the highway now. It's very confused. It wants me to get off at this freeway exit. Okay, so I'm gonna take the Bonanza Trail here and see if it finally figures out that this is a trail system here. Nope, still very, very confused. Yeah, it thinks I'm in this parking lot now. It doesn't even really seem aware that there's a trail here. Okay, so at this point, let's see if it can figure out where to go now that we're back on regular roads. Okay, so we're less than a mile away now, so I'll kind of give my thoughts. I mean, just doing the initial search, it's easy to tell that the route finding algorithm is not fantastic on the app, because even if I didn't want to use the bike paths, say I wanted to use, surface streets like this, it still took me on a route that would require 13 turns. 13 turns. It's clearly just finding the shortest point or the shortest route from point A to point B, which is fine, but you're just better off using Google Maps or Apple Maps if you're going to be using the mount. The mount, however, is super nice, and the fact that it comes with the adhesive and it can just be stuck right dead in the center. It's super easy to view. You can use it in tandem with the Apollo app to track your speed and your battery and that kind of stuff. It is a convenient feature, but the app just doesn't do a good enough job to replace Google Maps.
Also, just a small tip, if you're using the adhesive mount, put it low on your phone. I mounted mine right in the middle, and the phone actually ends up sitting lower than I would have liked and kind of interfering with your riding space. If you're someone who's constantly going places where you need to use the map, then this mount will be awesome. However, I didn't really end up using the app a ton because most of the places I ride, I don't need navigation to, and I found that the included dot matrix display was easier to see in bright sunlight with tinted goggles or sunglasses on.
Apollo also sent me out some of their prototype accessories for me to try. It looks like they have a bag for the Apollo Go coming out soon. And they also have some mirrors that I guess are designed to fit this scooter specifically. And I think they also fit on the City and the Phantom. Now I assume the ones they sent me are in fact prototypes because the mirrors are 2 different shapes. I think this is the shape that they ended up settling on, but I'm not 100% sure. And also It didn't come in any sort of packaging. They just kind of sent everything loose. But I'll give these a try and tell you if I think they're any good. All right, let's start with the travel bag here. And the idea is that you're supposed to be able to fold this up and then literally be able to lug it around. I've only seen a few other scooter brands do this. And then also the Jackrabbit bike. But the ones that come to mind are like Unagi has one of these. And yeah, I honestly can't think of any others off the top of my head right now. So it's a pretty unique feature here. So we'll get this folded down.
I think the biggest appeal of a bag like this for me is being able to put it in the car without getting tire marks on your seats, or being able to store it somewhere where there's carpet without needing to put the tires directly on the carpet. And the fact that you can use the bag to lug it around is just really a bonus.
Yeah, and that fits pretty well. Slings over the shoulder. This is kind of the upper limit of weight you would want on your on your shoulder. It also has a spot for the charger to run in, which is nice, so you can charge it in the bag without having to unzip it at all. But yeah, you probably already know if this is something that appeals to you. I think it's $140. I'll put the price on the screen right now. So it is a little pricey, but you probably already know if you're someone that this would be useful for. Okay, now for the mirrors, it comes with this extra bumper, which is for the air or the city that you put on there, which would, protect it and fill in the extra gap. But for the Go here, you just put this metal bracket directly on there. I've already installed it once and it doesn't damage the paint at all, which is nice. It's also nice to see a metal bracket like this. Now these mirrors are, as far as I understand, going to be $75 when they come out. And for comparison, you can buy a set of standard, like 2 mirrors for normal bike handlebars on Amazon for about $30 to $35. So you're paying kind of twice what you could. Now, obviously, the benefit of buying from Apollo is that you are going to get better quality. You have these metal brackets, and you're kind of forced to buy Apollo's mirrors because this is kind of the only bracket that would fit this large of a handlebar. They've kind of forced you to purchase mirrors from them because finding an adapter that would work with this, I think, would be pretty difficult. That looks like you gotta twist this mirror in here. You might be saying, oh, why don't you just twist this thing? That doesn't do what you think it does. That doesn't actually screw it in. That just covers up the threads. So you have to screw it like this until you kind of get it where you want it here. And then that, I guess, theoretically could fill in any extra space that you have. Now, typically I like to see the mirror hanging off the edge just a little bit more so you don't get a reflection of your body at all, and you can get a clearer view of everything going on to the side of you. But we'll test this out outside and see if it still is okay, even with it being right over my hand here.
Also, I've been using this mirror and it just doesn't work. It vibrates like crazy. I can't direct it in a way where I can see around my body properly, and everything in the mirror appears way too close. Now, perhaps the non-prototype version fixes that a little bit. Maybe it's not as loose, maybe the field of view is better, but I can only review what's in front of me.
A question I see people ask a lot is if it's worth upgrading to the Apollo City for $500 more. In my testing and our testing over on Electric Scooter Guide, we saw about a 5-mile-an-hour top speed and a 5-mile total range difference between the two. The City is also a little bit more spacious in the riding platform and has a bit more planted overall feel. However, for the money, the Go is probably Apollo's best value proposition, and it really feels like you're getting a baby version of the Apollo Pro, their top-of-the-line scooter. Both the Go and the City fill a similar role in being dual motor city commuters, and frankly, if you're jumping up to that $1,800 price tag that the City has, and you want a big jump in performance, then there are a number of faster, sportier scooters at the price. However, if the extra speed and range is worth $500 to you, and you definitely want to go for that comfortable city commuter feel, then the City will be a good choice. Overall though, I do think the Go is a better bang for your buck.
It's always a great day for me as a reviewer when a scooter I'm testing comes with few, if any, caveats, and when a scooter sits at the top of its class and has a great price. The Go is genuinely a scooter that checks both of those boxes, and it's my favorite Apollo scooter in their lineup right now. If you want to check out this scooter, it will be linked down below in the description. As always, thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.